in the mirror, Tease will make it clearer. Now you got me in a mood. You can text me.
So Tease was started this summer when I was living in Albany. It was about this girl I'd met, of all places, on Tinder. A little bit of a toxic, clingy relationship, just something casual that had spawned from us talking. And the idea of the song, it actually came from a text I had woken up to one morning. And it was just this mirror selfie with the message, I'm lonely. And that's where the hook comes from. The wake me up in the morning, tell me that you're lonely, I've been feeling lonely too. And that's kind of the whole original idea of the song.
Wake me up in the morning, tell me that you're lonely, I've been feeling lonely too.
So after I had been in this relationship for a little bit with this girl, I was on FaceTime with a producer I know, Prod by Dylan, and we had this really nice guitar loop we were working with. I actually wrote half the song, all the vocals, and had myself muted. He made the beat and had himself muted, and then we sent them back and forth to each other, and then kind of arranged it, put in the cuts on the right words, like addicted, and that's when I had originally put the lower vocal into the song to give it a little more of a darker sound, because I thought it just fit the guitar really well, it fit the style, it fit the fact that it wasn't quite perfect. There's that little bit of deviousness in the song. And from there, I took it to the studio, which is Subcat Studios. It's in Syracuse, New York. I went there with engineer Mikey T, and we started recording the song. Funny story, I recorded the song like months before I had actually done the final take, and I had like really sung into the mic and like enunciated every word perfectly, and I had showed it to people and they're like, yeah, but this doesn't sound like the demo at all. In the demo, you're kind of like mumbly, a little whispery, and that wasn't even on purpose. I was living in an apartment with 3 other dudes, and I didn't want to just be like singing while they were doing work in the background, and it ended up just becoming a better vibe for the song. I ended up going back and re-recording it to the same vibe, a little more whispery, a little more mumbly. We had the demo playing before each take so I could hear it and then base off that and get it right. After that, I sent it to Steve, and we started working on the mix.
And I'm glad you did. It was a super fun song to work on. Now we're going to dig into the details on the computer in the mix and master. All right, let's check out the vocal chain. So to start, there's a de-esser on the vocals. This takes out the pancakes, the S of the vocal. Then we have soothe, removing some of the harshness going on. We got some compression, which smooths out the volume from the loud peaks to the low lows. It tries to keep things consistent. Then we have an EQ going on, which affects the tone, like the bass, the lows, the highs, the harshness. That's going on to clean things up a little bit. Another compressor. We have an EQ here that I really love that adds a little bit more boisterous body and a little more sparkle to the top. This limiter removes any other peaks that might be going on. Then it looks like I used this sonic enhancer to bring a little more presence to the mids, a little bit more richness, boldness. And then in the end, there's this vocal rider plugin that follows the music and helps to keep the vocal on top the whole time. I'll play a little bit of it so you can see the meters moving around and stuff.
Up in the morning, tell me that you're lonely, I've been feeling lonely too. And you're back in the mirror, Tease will make it clearer. Now you got me in a mood. You can text me, baby, I'll be driving to your room. Give me 15 minutes on the highway, I'ma be on top of you. Stop me, let's go, I'm so addicted. She know just how my fit.
Alright, so to make this as simple as possible, what I'm going to do is play the raw vocal and the mixed vocal so you can hear the difference.
Up in the morning, tell me that you're lonely, I've been feeling lonely too. And you're back in the mirror, Tease will make it clearer. Now you got me in a Up in the morning, tell me that you're lonely, I've been feeling lonely too. And you're back in the mirror, Tease to make it clearer. Now you got me in a mood. You can text me, baby, I'll be driving to your room. Give me 15 minutes on the highway, and I'ma be on top of you.
So honestly, the raw sounded pretty good, I would say. It was recorded well. Mikey T did a great job. The mix really just made it way more present and in your face and up front, but clear at the same time. That's kind of what I gathered. I think it's doing that really well.
Yeah, I think it makes it a little bit cleaner. It makes everything easier to hear. All the words stand out a little bit better.
For sure. Let's check out some of the effects. One of the effects used in this song a lot is the vocal throws that are put in the different parts of the song. I typically like to put it on the ends of certain lines instead of just across the whole thing, because it gets really messy when you do that. So let me play an example of what I'm talking about. Hear this.
Girlie kinda crazy and she playing way too hard, and I know you got me good, and I know you really should wake me up in the morning, tell me this.
Yeah, I feel like they just add this kind of interest to the song, and especially, when you're listening in headphones, you're just like immersed in the whole thing. What do you think?
Oh, definitely. Fills the space too, connects everything better.
Another effect that added a lot of motion to the second verse of this song was a filter that I automated throughout. So I'll play it real quick for you so you know what I'm talking about, but more or less you can hear the high end disappearing slowly and coming back and disappearing again. Check it out. Yeah, it might look a little crazy with tons of dots up there, but I usually typically do it with my mouse, with my hand, because I feel like it adds a little bit of humanity to it versus like clicking in all the dots. Yeah. So all those the motion you saw that knob having, I did that right with my mouse, my hand. One thing that comes to mind whenever I'm working on a song is I always want to be thinking about the different sections of the song and how it can stay interesting. So sometimes, like, you might be working on a track and there's, like, a lull. Meaning that maybe, like, I'm losing interest. I have to think about it from the point of view of someone just, like, clicking play on Spotify, right? And, that's where that effect of the filter came into play, is, like, how can I spice this up, keep a listener engaged, give it some ear candy. We also did that on the outro, because I was playing the outro and I was like, okay, like, the beat's still going, that's cool, but, like, why? Honestly, why? Should this song end faster? How can I either end it sooner or keep it interesting? So what we did was we took the vocal ad-libs from the intro of the song and I put them on the end and put some filters and stuff on them. I'm going to play that for you right now. Check this out.
15 minutes on the highway, I'ma be on top of you.
I love that reverb at the end. It's so
nice.
All right, so that was Inside the Mix of Tease. Those were the things that made Tease a special and unique song. Those are what make it Tease.
So after Steve put his magic touch on the song, I sent it to the photographer and I asked him if he wanted to work. It's SG Studios. He was super down. He was super excited to work. I set up the shoot in my dorm room. We put this gray blanket attached to like a lofted bed we had, then borrowed a chair from one of the lobbies and like moved the rug around, moved everything out of the way, put the chair in front of it. It's like this nice leather chair we found. And then I found 3 girls who were down to model for it, who I was just friends with at Siena. After that, I found a photographer to get some background some like B-roll of the scene, so like behind the scenes shoots of us setting up the shoot and everything like that. After that, we set up a day at like almost the end of last semester and got everyone in, set up the shoot. It was kinda hard at first to figure out how to get the girls' arms in the shot without getting them in the shot. And there's this funny picture that the background photographer took, Mike Danahan. It's just of like one girl crouched in a corner, like reaching in like this, and then another girl like crouched behind the chair kind of hiding, and then the other girl standing way out. It's funny because it looks so unnatural, but then you see the actual picture, and he did a great job of angling everything so that it just looks natural, like the arms were just coming in. I thought it was super dope. It was a lot of fun. So that's basically the story behind the song. Thanks a lot for your help. Make sure to check him out, Steve at Brown Mix and Master. You can check out Tease, Spotify, Apple Music, YouTube, any streaming service that you use. Thanks, guys.
Wake me up in the morning, tell me that you're lonely. I've been feeling lonely too. And you're back in the mirror, tease to make it clear.